Write it down. Titles don't make leaders. Purpose produces influence. Leadership is not a chair. It is a charge. It is not a badge. It is a burden you carry with joy. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation, generated by a passion, motivated by a vision, birthed by a conviction, produced by a sense of purpose. That is the chain. And if you chase the fruit without the root, it will rot in your hand. Jesus said, by their fruit you will know them, Matthew 7:20. Not by their tag, not by their followers, not by their microphone, by their fruit. I know your tension. You desire to impact without gimmicks, to move people without hype, to lead without becoming a performer. Yet you wonder, who will listen to me without a title? You've watched rooms ignore you until someone introduces your resume. Listen, influence doesn't wait for permission. It demonstrates value. David had no title in the field, yet giants fell because purpose showed up with a sling. Joseph had no title in prison, yet systems shifted when purpose interpreted a dream. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Proverbs 19:21. Write that down. Purpose prevails when positions fail. Set your expectation tonight. We are dealing with kingdom keys. Keys don't ask for culture. They command doors. Truth is not regional. It is eternal. Genesis 1:28 is not a church verse. It is a creation mandate. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, and have dominion. These are not trends. They are laws. Gravity does not care if you believe in it. Jump and you will discover its consistency. Likewise, the laws of the kingdom operate in business, family, church, and community. Apply them and they will work for you. Ignore them and you will work for those who do. If you don't deploy yourself, you will be employed by someone who did. Tell your neighbor, I'm done asking for permission. I'm finding my purpose. Say it out loud. I don't need a title to be influential. Again, I don't need a title to be influential. Your future does not begin with a promotion. It begins with a revelation. The world is not starving for more celebrities. It is starving for more fruit. The world doesn't eat seeds. The world eats fruit. So stop posting your seeds and start producing your fruit. Here is our journey. I will give you 7 kingdom keys: purpose, conviction, vision, passion, inspiration, fruit, and dominion through mastery. We will reverse the chain you were taught, dismantle the addiction to titles, and root you in the assignment behind your existence. Then we will scale your influence by law, not luck, until your life becomes a system that delivers value on schedule. Finally, we will seal it with identity, because strategy without identity collapses under pressure. Every true vision will be tested, but a man or woman anchored in purpose cannot be moved. You are necessary. Tonight, I am not entertaining you. I am deploying you. Write it down and prepare to produce. Now lean in. Influence is the fruit. Purpose is the root. Write that down. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation, generated by a passion, motivated by a vision, birthed by a conviction, produced by a sense of purpose. That's the sentence you've been quoting. But here's the correction. You must turn that sentence upside down and start from the bottom. Begin with purpose, which produces conviction, which births vision, which generates passion, which fuels inspiration, which creates influence, and then leadership shows up as the byproduct. Say it with me. Start at the root, not at the fruit. Most people are chasing the top of the chain. They want influence without inspiration, inspiration without passion, passion without vision, vision without conviction, conviction without purpose. That is why it collapses. If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? Psalm 11:3. Your foundation is purpose. You are decorating a house with no foundation and wondering why the furniture keeps sinking. Who are you trying to impress? Who are you trying to become? Are you engineering an image or embodying an assignment? Let me expose the counterfeit. Manipulators demand compliance. Leaders inspire contribution. Manipulation uses fear, guilt, and control. Leadership releases potential through clarity, integrity, and example. Scripture says, not lording it over those entrusted to you, but being examples to the flock, 1 Peter 5:3. Manipulation squeezes people to serve your ego. Leadership serves people so their gift emerges. One collects followers, the other cultivates fruit bearers. Jesus said, I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that remains. John 15:16. Write that down. Remaining fruit is the evidence of leadership. Micro application right now. Be honest. Identify one place where you are substituting image for purpose. Is it your social media, where you post what you don't produce? Is it your workplace, where you lobby for a title you haven't earned by value? Is it your ministry, where you want a microphone but resist preparation? Is it your family, where you demand honor but neglect example? Choose one, circle it in your mind. Now decide, I will replace image with assignment there. Delete one vanity-driven habit and install one value-producing action this week. Produce something. The world doesn't eat seeds, the world eats fruit. Here is your blueprint in reverse. Purpose decide why you exist. Conviction decide once and stop negotiating. Vision see beyond sight and document tomorrow. Passion light the fire and keep it hot. Inspiration communicate with integrity until hearts lean in. Influence people start following the clarity, not your title. Leadership shows up because you delivered value consistently. Where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Proverbs 29:18. Vision doesn't come first. It comes from conviction, which comes from purpose. Say it. Influence is my fruit. Purpose is my root. If you want lasting influence, stop climbing the leaves and start digging the root. Start from purpose and everything else will find its place. Now write it down, commit it, and prepare to build from the bottom up. Purpose is not a job description. It is original intent. It is why the manufacturer sent you to earth, the assignment embedded in your design, the problem you were crafted to solve, the value you were born to deliver. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1-5. That verse is not poetry. It is production data. We are his workmanship created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Ephesians 2:10. Write that down. Purpose is the source code of your influence. If you don't discover it, you will spend your life borrowing identity like rented clothes, looking good, fitting bad, and returning it empty. How does God hide your purpose? In your seed. Your seed is that idea that will not leave you alone. It keeps interrupting your comfort, agitating your sleep, and drafting plans on the margins of your meeting notes. Your seed is the gift you cannot switch off, even when you're unpaid for it. When God demands something from you, it exists. The question is not, do I have a seed? The question is, will I cultivate it into fruit? Because the world doesn't eat seeds. Produce something. Be fruitful. Beware the trap of comparison. Comparison is the cemetery of originality. Copying another person's call produces frustration and imitation influence. Saul tried to make David a copy of himself by putting his armor on him. David said, I cannot go in these, for I have not tested them. 1 Samuel 17:39. Write that down. Untested armor is heavy, and imitation leadership is fragile. When they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves, they are not wise. 2 Corinthians 10:12. If you chase another man's lane, you will miss your exit. Your grace fits your race. Say it. I will not wear another person's purpose. Let me make it practical. What problem makes you angry enough to fix it? Anger is often a clue to assignment. Moses was angry at oppression. Nehemiah was angry at broken walls. Jesus was angry at dead religion. Righteous anger is the alarm clock of purpose. Second question, what do people come to you for naturally? Do they bring you their tangled calendars because you bring order? Do they call you when a conflict needs peace? Do they send you drafts because your words unlock clarity? Every problem is a business and every gift is a solution. If they keep finding you, heaven is locating you. Stop despising what comes easy for you. What is easy for you is hard for others, and that difference is your domain. Now, activation. Take out your device or paper. Write one sentence that begins with "I was born to," and make it specific. Not "I was born to help people." That's vague. Try "I was born to design systems that simplified complex decisions." Or "I was born to heal families through counseling that restores trust." Or "I was born to craft stories that ignite purpose in emerging leaders." Write it down, read it aloud, tape it to your mirror, and let it police your calendar. Purpose clarifies yes and protects no. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Proverbs 19:21. Say it with conviction. My purpose is my root. My influence is my fruit. Decide it, document it, and dedicate yourself to it until what is invisible in you becomes undeniable to us. Conviction is next. Purpose produces conviction. Write this down. Conviction is a settled belief, your internal constitution, signed by your spirit, notarized by your conscience, and no crowd can rewrite it. It is the moment you decide once, and fear loses its voting rights. Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. Daniel 1-8, that is conviction. Isaiah said, "I have set my face like flint." Isaiah 50-7. That is conviction. Jesus steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem. Luke 9:51. That is conviction. Say it. I decide once. I stop negotiating with fear. Listen carefully. Real influence requires the ability to stand alone before you can lead others together. If you need a crowd to be courageous, you will abuse a crowd to stay courageous. Leaders are not thermostats. After the room warms up, they set the temperature when the room is cold. Noah built an ark while the sky was blue. Joseph held his dream while the prison was damp. Paul said, "None of these things move me." Acts 20:24. Write this down. If you cannot stand alone, you cannot stand at all. Now let me correct the wobble in the house. Stop changing your major every year. Stop rebranding your life every quarter. Stop breaking engagement with your assignment every time opposition texts you. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, James 1-8. Indecision drains authority. Your team can't follow your maybe. Your clients can't buy your confusion. Your children can't trust your weekly pivot. Pick a lane and turn on your signals left, right, or straight, but for the sake of your future, stop swerving. Conviction is the lane keeper. Every true vision will be tested. Opposition is not a sign to quit. It is proof there is value in the vault. Thieves don't break into empty houses. The trial of your faith being much more precious than gold, though it is tested by fire. 1 Peter 1-7. Fire reveals what is real. Pressure proves structure. If your influence collapses under criticism, it was charisma without a backbone. Conviction is the spine of leadership. Without it, you are a mannequin dressed nicely, but hollow and easily moved. With it, you become unbribable. If I was still trying to please men, I would not be a servant of Christ. Galatians 1:10. Write that down. Approval addiction is the enemy of conviction. Practical now. Choose one non-negotiable value and define how it walks around daily. Integrity. I tell the truth. When it costs me, I submit clean invoices. I keep my word even if I lose convenience. Excellence. I arrive 10 minutes early. I deliver one iteration better than requested. I refuse sloppy language, sloppy work, and sloppy thinking. Service. I anticipate needs. I follow up without being asked. I solve problems before I advertise a solution. Do not generalize. Operationalize. Document it. Schedule it. Measure it. Conviction is not a feeling. It is a policy you keep when feelings fluctuate. Say it out loud. My conviction is my backbone. I am not for sale. I don't negotiate with fear. I fix my face like flint, and when the wind blows, I will still be here. Because conviction makes you inevitable. And inevitable leaders become influential not by title, but by the unshakable weight of a life decided. Vision now. Purpose has given you the why. Conviction has fixed your face, and out of that furnace comes sight for what is not yet. Write this down. The greatest enemy of your vision is your eyes. Sight reports facts. Vision reveals truth. Sight tells you the balance in your account. Vision tells you the blueprint in your spirit. We walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5-7. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. Say it. I will not be managed by my eyes. I will be led by my vision. Why do leaders look crazy? Because they keep seeing what other people's eyes cannot yet validate. Noah looked insane building a boat under a blue sky. Joseph looked arrogant, describing a future where rulers bowed. Entrepreneurs look strange because they keep answering the questions no one is asking yet. 2 scouts visit a barefoot village. One texts, no market, no one wears shoes. The other texts, unlimited market, no one wears shoes. Same facts, different vision. Which one will build a factory? Write it down. Facts don't decide your future. Interpretation does. Now anchor this or you will drift into fantasy. Vision without purpose is ego with a camera. Vision is your purpose in pictures, images that serve people, not your pride. Write the vision and make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. Habakkuk 2:2. If it is not plain, it cannot be run with. If it does not serve, it cannot be from God. Ego builds thrones. Vision builds tables. Purpose asks, who am I sent to? Vision answers, what will their life look like when I am faithful? Let's practice. Close your eyes for a moment and live your future now. It is 3 years from today. What changed? Describe it in present tense. Our firm delivers conflict resolution systems to 200 schools. Incidents dropped 38%. Graduation rates rose 12%. We've trained 60 counselors in 3 regions, and our online course runs every Monday with 800 students. We publish quarterly case studies. Our second book is in 2 languages. We employ 14 staff paid on time with health care and partner with 3 nonprofits to sponsor 100 fatherhood circles. Our app is at version 3.1, fewer clicks, more peace. Our reviews say they restored trust in our home. This is fruit visible value from an invisible seed. The world doesn't eat seeds. Give your future language because people follow clarity. God changed Abram's name to Abraham to give language to his future. Romans 4:17. When you can say it, we can see it. When we can see it, we can run. Vision gathers volunteers because it gives direction to energy. Where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Proverbs 29:18. Write it down tonight. A 1-page present tense description of your next 3 years. Who is helped, what products exist, which systems run, what testimonies prove it. Include dates, numbers, names, places, and distribution. Make it plain and then speak it daily. Say it out loud. My vision is my purpose in pictures. I see beyond sight. I speak the future until the present obeys. I am not guessing, I am guided. I call things that are not as though they were, not to escape reality, but to construct it with integrity. And I will live my future now on paper, in my mouth, in my calendar, until it becomes unavoidable to everyone else. Passion now. Write this down. Passion is purposeful energy, emotion harnessed by assignment, not hype. It is not volume. It is voltage. It is not personality. It is power directed by conviction. Jeremiah said, his word was in my heart like a burning fire shut up in my bones. Jeremiah 20:9. That is passion, fire with a file, heat with a handle. Romans 12:11 commands, do not be slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Fervent is not frantic, it is focused heat. Say it, passion is the energy of my purpose. Let me expose the counterfeit. Counterfeit passion is noise without nutrients, loudness without value, charisma without product, activity without assignment. You sweat, we clap, then we go home hungry because you cooked nothing. The world doesn't eat seeds, the world eats fruit. Stop mistaking adrenaline for anointing. Busyness is not business. Jumping doesn't equal progress. Airplanes fly because of design, not because they wiggle their wings. Jesus turned over tables once, but he healed, taught, and produced daily. Zeal for your house has consumed me, John 2:17, was proven by works, not merely words. Write that down. Real passion builds something. Passion is transferable. It is contagious. When you are truly ignited by assignment, people feel it in your language, your eyes, your calendar, your follow through. Paul told Timothy, stir up the gift of God which is in you, 2 Timothy 1-6. Hebrews 10:24 adds, let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works. That means your fire can light someone else's wick. Passion makes the nervous try. Passion makes the tired try again. Passion makes the cynic consider. People don't borrow your title, they borrow your temperature. Be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Practical check, this will save you years. Audit your energy for 7 days. Track what drains you and what energizes you. When you finish doing it, do you feel grace or grieved? If it consistently drains you, it may not be your lane, or it requires a system to support you. If it energizes you, that's your compass pointing to assignment. Beware of temporary thrills that leave long-term emptiness. Chocolate gives you a spike. Purpose gives you stamina. Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord. Heartily means wholeheartedly, not half-flamed. Now hear this correction with love. Stop apologizing for your intensity when it is tied to purpose. You are not too much. You are too unrefined. Refine it with discipline. Fire without a fireplace burns houses down. Fire in a fireplace warms nations. Discipline your passion with schedules, skill building, and rest. Go to bed on time so your flame doesn't flicker at noon. Train your gift until excellence becomes your accent. Guard your mornings for creation, not distraction. Fast from noise to protect your heat. Passion unmanaged becomes offense. Passion mastered becomes influence. A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. Proverbs 25-28. Build your walls so your fire can serve, not scorch. Say it out loud. My passion is not hype, it is holy energy. I harness my heat. I refuse counterfeit busyness. I stir my gift. I steward my fire, and I set a temperature that makes others brave. From this day, my passion will be undeniable because it is anchored in purpose, governed by conviction, and measured by fruit. Passion becomes dangerous or divine based on what you do with it next. Write this down. Kingdom leadership wins hearts by inspiration, not hands by manipulation. The Son of Man said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, not so with you. Whoever would be great among you must be your servant. Matthew 20:25-26. That is a line in the sand. Manipulation controls people for your benefit. Inspiration awakens people for their benefit and the mission's benefit. One uses people to build a tower. The other builds people and fulfills vision together. Let me expose the mass of manipulation so you can repent fast and rebuild trust. Guilt, if you love God, you stay late for free. Fear, if you don't do it my way, you're out. Flattery, you're the only one who can save us. Then they discard you when you disagree. Pressure, decide now or lose everything. Weaponizing urgency because they have no integrity. Title dropping, do it because I'm your boss, pastor, founder, when competence and character should be enough. Image management, curating perfection online while hiding dysfunction in the process, demanding applause for a photo without delivering fruit. Information hoarding, keeping keys and knowledge hostage to make yourself indispensable. That is not leadership. That is idolatry with a clipboard. Paul said, we have renounced disgraceful, underhanded ways. By the open statement of the truth, we would commend ourselves. 2 Corinthians 4:2. Write that down. Secrecy that enslaves is not strategy, it's sorcery. Here is the ethics of inspiration. Clarity, plain vision, measurable fruit, define wins for the people you lead. Service, you remove obstacles, not create them. You carry weight before you assign it. Example, you model what you mandate. You don't outsource character. Consistency, you keep time, keep promises, keep tone. Stability is love with a schedule. Empowerment, You give tools, training, and authority. You want them to outgrow dependency and outproduce you. Not lording it over those entrusted to you, but being examples to the flock, 1 Peter 5-3. Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. John 10:11. Inspiration bleeds before it blames. It lays down ego to lift others up. Trust is the currency of influence. Say that. Trust is capital. Once you spend it, you must earn it back with interest. The integrity of the upright guides them. Proverbs 11:3. Steadfast love and faithfulness preserve the king. Proverbs 20:28. You make deposits into trust by telling the truth early, paying people on time, admitting mistakes publicly, giving credit generously, correcting privately, and keeping confidences religiously. You bankrupt trust when people feel used, lied to, or leveraged. Practical now. Audit one meeting this week. Enter with a one-page purpose of the task, the benefit to them, the resources you will provide, the authority they carry, the fruit we will measure, and how success advances their growth. Open your playbook, document processes so others can run without asking your permission for oxygen. Replace threat with training, flattery with feedback, secrecy with succession. Say it out loud. I will never use people to build my vision. I will build people and fulfill vision together. Again, I will never use people to build my vision. I will build people and fulfill vision together. From this day, I choose inspiration over manipulation, service over status, integrity over image, so that our passion becomes light, our light becomes trust, and our trust multiplies fruit that remains. Now we work. Write this down. Gifts are seeds. Impact comes when seeds become consumable fruit. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit and so prove to be my disciples. John 15:8. God is not glorified by your potential. He is glorified by your product. Eden was not stocked with furniture. It was stocked with seeds. He hid chairs in trees, medicine in leaves, industries in talents, movements in burdens, waiting for a producer to extract value. The world doesn't eat seeds. The world eats fruit. Say it. Let me correct the friendly lies you've been told. Potential is not a product. Ideas are not impact. Intention is not influence. In all toil there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty. Proverbs 14:23. You cannot deposit good intentions. You cannot invoice brainstorms. James said, I will show you my faith by my works. James 2:18. If we can't taste it, we can't testify. If we can't use it, we can't follow it. Fruit is proof. Here is value economics. Write it down and tattoo it on your plans. Money follows value. Honor follows contribution. Influence follows solutions. Every problem is a business. If you solve pain, people will find you. If you save time, they will pay you. If you increase joy, they will honor you. The market is not biased, it is hungry. And hunger respects fruit. Stop resenting those who ship. Study them. They don't need to be smarter than you. They just need to be finished. Practical translation, convert your invisible gift into visible value now. Turn your counsel and grace into a conflict resolution kit, scripts, worksheets, a 60-minute training, and a follow-up checklist. Turn your storytelling gift into a 5-chapter booklet with a 3-video companion course and a live Q&A night. Turn your organizing instinct into a productivity template bundle and a 2-hour implementation workshop for teams. Turn your compassion into a community initiative, monthly fatherhood circles with a facilitator guide, a sign-up system, and a testimony process. Turn your coding hobby into a micro tool that automates one tedious step for nonprofits. Product, program, service, system, training, tool, initiative. Produce something we can touch, try, test, and tell others about. The world doesn't eat seeds. 30-day command, no excuses. In the next 30 days, ship a first fruit, even if imperfect. A 1-page solution PDF with a clear promise. A 3-lesson mini course recorded on your phone. a pilot workshop for 12 people, a prototype checklist that reduces a process from 10 steps to 5, a neighborhood solution night with a how-to guide, a beta app with one feature that works every time. Give it to 50 people free, collect testimonials, measure the outcome, iterate once, then set a starter price. Proof before price, fruit before fame. Talk attracts attention for a moment. Fruit attracts followers for a movement. Say it out loud. I stop hugging my seeds. I deliver fruit. I convert invisible gifts into visible value. I produce on schedule. Be fruitful. Genesis 1:28 is not a suggestion. It is a system. In 30 days, something with your name on it will help someone else on purpose. And when fruit appears, influence increases because solutions speak louder than speeches. Dominion now. Write this down. Dominion is not ambition. Dominion is mastery. You were born to master something, not dabble in everything. Let us make man in our image and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Notice he did not say, let them dominate people. He assigned dominion over domains, fish, birds, land, systems, areas, not humans. Dominion requires a domain, and a domain demands distinction. Say it. I was born to master a domain. Everybody sells burgers. What's your Whopper? Distinctiveness creates remembrance. The market does not remember generalists. It remembers specialists who solved one problem so well that their name became shorthand for the solution. When you hear search, a company comes to mind. Overnight shipping, a company comes to mind. Golf excellence, a name comes to mind. That's not witchcraft, that's mastery. Do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings, Proverbs 22:29. Kings don't summon dabblers, they summon masters. Write it down. Why do specialists lead markets? Because first thought becomes first choice. The mind is a filing cabinet labeled by clarity. When we think of a problem and your name is the tab on the folder, we pull you first. Influence is mental real estate. You earn it by consistent, superior outcomes around a narrow promise. Daniel was preferred because an excellent spirit was in him. Daniel 6:3. Excellence made him unforgettable in Babylon's system. Not loudness, excellence. Not titles, results. Practical narrowing now. Some of you are blurry. Choose one domain, one audience, one problem, one signature solution. Say it out loud and write it plainly. My domain, conflict resolution systems. My audience, middle schools and urban districts. My problem, recurring teacher-parent breakdowns. My signature solution, a 6-0-day protocol with scripts, training, and a dashboard that cuts incidents 30% or more. Or my domain, micro-automation tools. My audience, nonprofits under $2M. My problem, manual donor updates. My signature solution, a plug-and-play script that syncs gifts in real time with zero double entry. Stop selling everything to everyone. A confused brand is a silent brand. Distinction is love. It respects your customer's memory. Mastery is a schedule, not a slogan. Tiger Woods didn't become Tiger at the press conference. He became Tiger at 4 a.m. swings no one clapped for. Bezalel was filled with the Spirit in all manner of workmanship, Exodus 31:3, and then worked. Jesus increased in wisdom and stature, Luke 2:52. Increase implies process. Paul said, I discipline my body, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. 1 Corinthians 9:27, show up early. Train daily, refine relentlessly, track your reps, review your tape, remove one friction point per week, install feedback loops with your users, upgrade your tools quarterly, replace opinions with metrics. Mastery is repetition with reflection until distinction becomes instinct. Now, identity and action. Say it. Dominion is not ambition. Dominion is mastery, and mastery makes me unforgettable. I own a domain. I choose one audience. I solve one problem exceptionally well. I build a signature solution and I protect its quality with discipline. For the next 90 days, schedule non-negotiable mastery blocks, 2 hours a day to sharpen skill, document, process, and improve outcomes. When we think of that problem, we will think of you first. That is dominion. Now that mastery has located your lane. Here is the operating system to scale it. Write this down. Be fruitful and multiply. Replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion. Genesis 1:28 is not a nursery verse. It is a kingdom blueprint for enterprise and leadership influence. It is a sequence, not a slogan. Productivity, then scaling, then distribution, then governance, then dominion. Miss the order and you birth chaos. Keep the order and influence becomes inevitable. Be fruitful, produce value. Fruit is the first credential. Solve a real need with a real product that delivers a real outcome, a result we can taste, a program we can run, a tool that reduces steps. Jesus said, by their fruits you will know them, Matthew 7:20. The world doesn't eat seeds. Stop promising and start producing one product that works every time for one audience in one domain. That is the seed becoming fruit. Say it, I will be fruitful. Multiply, replicate your fruit through systems, not celebrity. What you can do once is talent. What others can do without you is leadership. Document the recipe, write the checklist, record the training, build templates, empower a team. Paul told Timothy, what you have heard from me, entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. 2 Timothy 2:2, that is multiplication, 4 generations in one verse. McDonald's didn't grow on better burgers, it grew on better systems. Write that down. Influence grows when impact is repeatable. Replenish, distribute until your solution shows up where you cannot put your fruit in environments beyond your reach. Platforms, partnerships, translations, licenses, affiliates, campuses, communities, nations. Ship your book to new languages. Put the course on multiple marketplaces. Partner with associations who already gather your audience. Replenish means refill the shelves wherever there is hunger. Their sound went out into all the earth, Romans 10:18. Distribution is how your voice enters rooms before you arrive. Subdue, govern the growth so chaos doesn't hijack your culture. To subdue is to bring variables under discipline. Install quality standards, service level agreements, brand guidelines, financial controls, and feedback loops. Protect your values in the hiring funnel. Measure what matters, outcomes, not optics. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Order is love that people can feel on Tuesday. If you don't set standards, the market will set them for you poorly. Have dominion, own the category by consistent excellence with integrity. Dominion is when your name becomes first thought for that problem because your fruit is everywhere. Your systems are trusted, your distribution is present, and your standards are uncompromised. But hear me, dominion without integrity is dictatorship. The integrity of the upright guides them, Proverbs 11:3. Kingdom dominion serves, it doesn't suffocate. It raises standards, it doesn't raise egos. Practical now, one move each step. This month, be fruitful. Finalize one flagship solution and deliver it to 50 users. Multiply, extract its recipe into a playbook and train 2 others to deliver it. Replenish. Open one new channel, platform, partner, or geography. Subdue. Install 3 non-negotiable standards with a scorecard. Claim your category with a clear promise statement and protect it daily. Say it out loud. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. This is my blueprint. I will produce, scale, distribute, govern, and dominate with integrity until my influence becomes a system that outlives my presence and serve generations. Deployment now. We have a blueprint. Stop standing on the runway. Write this down. You don't become influential by being noticed. You become influential by being useful on purpose. Too many of you are overqualified but underdeployed because you're still asking for permission to be who God already authorized. Arise, shine, for your light has come. Isaiah 60:1. Light doesn't request a meeting with darkness. It turns on. Say it out loud. I will turn on. If you don't deploy yourself, you'll be employed. That's not an insult. It's a warning. Employment is honorable, but dependency is not destiny. Joseph was employed in Potiphar's house, but he deployed his gift in prison, interpreted dreams, solved problems, documented outcomes, and the palace came looking. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. Notice it says gift, not resume. Fruit, not flattery. David didn't bring a title to Goliath. He brought proof. Your servant has killed both lion and bear. 1 Samuel 17:36. Write that down. Deployment is taking responsibility for your gift, building proof, and serving needs before applause arrives. Stop waiting to be chosen. Choose a problem. Every problem is a business. Every unmet need is an invitation to lead. Nehemiah heard of broken walls, wept, prayed, then wrote a plan. He asked the king for letters, timber, and time. Nehemiah 2-5. That is deployment, clarity, request, action. Some of you keep saying, when they notice me, I'll perform. No. Perform and they will notice. James said, I will show you my faith by my works. James 2:18. Show us. Here is your 7-day activation. No excuses. Day 1, walk your workplace or community with a notebook. Observe like a consultant. Write down 3 recurring pains that waste time, money, or trust. Day 2, 3, choose one pain you can solve within your domain. Define the outcome in 1 sentence. Reduce check-in time by 30%. Cut meeting overruns. Increase response speed. Day 4, design a simple solution checklist, script, template, pilot, workflow, or micro tool. Day 5, write it in 2 pages problem. Proposed solution, resources required, timeline, success metrics, and benefits to them. Day 6, build a small pilot offer to run it for 2 weeks with a small group at 0 cost. Day 7, present it with humility and data. Ask for permission to test, not for a title. Then execute, measure, and deliver a 1-page results summary. Proof before promotion. Beware the trap that keeps you stationary. Consumer identity. Borrowing to consume locks you in dependency. Producing to serve unlocks influence. Stop financing image, fund impact. If you must use a card, use it to print the manual for your pilot, not to purchase shoes that keep you impressive but immobile. In all toil, there is profit, but mere talk tends only to poverty. Proverbs 14:23. Talk is cheap. Testing is currency. Say it out loud. I will deploy myself. I will stop asking permission to be useful. I will convert observation into solutions, solutions into pilots, pilots into proof, and proof into influence. I am a producer, not merely a consumer. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. Start now. Your city is waiting for your fruit. Lean in now. This is your moment of sending. Say it out loud. I am necessary. I am gifted. I was born with purpose. I will produce fruit. Again, I am necessary. I am not an accident. I am gifted. I carry answers. I was born with purpose. I refuse confusion. I will produce fruit. My city will taste my value. Jesus said, you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit and that your fruit should remain. John 15:16. Chosen to go, appointed to bear, assigned to remain. Your influence is your responsibility. Accept your assignment, produce your fruit, and lead by inspiration. Let me seal the ladder in your spirit. Write it down in your heart. Purpose is the root. Conviction is the backbone. Vision is the picture. Passion is the energy. Inspiration is the ethic. Fruit is the proof. Dominion is the memory you leave on a domain. Say it. Purpose, conviction, vision, passion, inspiration, fruit, dominion. Turn the sentence upright and climb it daily. Where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Proverbs 29:18. Vision disciplines you. Passion fuels you. Integrity guards you. Fruit validates you. And mastery makes you unforgettable. This is not theory. This is law. Receive this encouragement. Humble beginnings do not disqualify you. They train you. Bethlehem was small, yet a ruler came forth. Micah 5:2. Joseph went from pit to prison to palace, but the gift worked in every season. Genesis 41. David learned accuracy with lions and bears before Goliath heard his name. 1 Samuel 17:34-37. Zechariah declares, who has despised the day of small things? Zechariah 4:10. Don't accept poverty of vision. Your eyes may see small, but your spirit must see nations. The greatest enemy of your vision is often your eyes, so close them and look from your heart. You were not born to be hidden. You were born to be helpful. Now act. Choose one key to implement today and schedule it. If it is purpose, block 2 hours to audit your gifts, pains you notice, and the outcomes you love delivering. If it is conviction, write your non-negotiables and sign them. If it is vision, draft 1 page of the future and 1 metric that proves progress. If it is passion, guard a daily creation block. If it is inspiration, rewrite 1 process with ethics and empowerment. If it is fruit, ship 1 first fruit to 50 people. If it is dominion, select 1 niche and craft a signature promise. Put it on the calendar. Principles become power through disciplined obedience. Establish the work of our hands. Psalm 90:17 is a prayer God answers when hands are working. I commission you now in the name of the King. Father, breathe on their seeds. Let hidden ideas germinate speedily. Turn burdens into blueprints, blueprints into products, products into systems, systems into standards, and standards into dominion with integrity. Let favor surround them as with a shield. Psalm 5:12. Open doors no man can shut. Revelation 3:8. Protect character. Multiply wisdom. Accelerate excellence. Make their fruit feed neighborhoods, then cities, then nations. Lift families from debt to dignity, from confusion to clarity, from survival to significance. Let their light so shine that men see their good works and glorify you. Matthew 5:16. Say it one more time. I am necessary. I am gifted. I was born with purpose. I will produce fruit. I choose disciplined obedience today. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. Genesis 1:28. Go now, deploy your purpose, inspire with integrity, deliver visible value, master your domain, and let your influence become a tree under which generations find shade.